Hello and welcome to the Pickup WNBA podcast. I'm your host, Cathryn Eicher.
And I'm your other host, Freddie Rivas. What is up, everybody?
This is episode 119.
Yes,
Into the final four. Exciting times. Freddie.
exciting times. Never a better time to follow us on our social media platforms, folks. At the WNBA Pickup Pod on Insta, on YouTube, on Facebook, but don't worry about that. It's a wasteland. Soon to be Blue Sky. TikTok, we should, but we're not even going to promise that. Follow us, like,
I
subscribe.
think we have a TikTok account, but we're not active on it.
Flailing win. Don't worry about that one either. Listen, it's about YouTube. It's about Insta.
In algorithm hell. And let's you listen, we're Canadian and we're sarcastic sometimes, but we mean this earnestly. Just putting that out there.
We do. We're earnest people, and we
We're
appreciate
laughing through the like us, subscribe, but we
who we are.
genuinely really want you to like and subscribe.
We're laughing, but we're in pain. And a couple podcasts ago, I made a joke and hit my elbow, and I said "ow" right as I was talking about Kathy Engelbert. So we're loose. We're having fun. We're making mistakes. But you know what? I'm also going to remind people to fill out our survey with ACAST, with Sonar Network. We have a bunch of completed surveys so far. We really, really appreciate it. This is like huge for us becoming legit for advertisers. And so it's helping us a lot. So we really, really appreciate everyone who's giving us feedback, and we're excited to kind of like put all the feedback together, add segments and basically listen to our listeners and kind of like do some tweaks here and there. So thanks everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you. We appreciate it so much. Freddie, let's dive in here. We're recording this Wednesday night. We are at the final four of March Madness. March Madness always spills into April, which has always confused me. I feel like it should end like March 31st.
That's a very good point. I've never thought
Right?
about it.
Like, wouldn't it be cool if like traditionally the final game was always March 31st?
Yeah, and instead it's sort of like April Fool's, March Madness is still going on,
Yeah.
which feels odd.
Yeah, I just feel like you started a little earlier and you just shift everything like a week earlier, and then you get that nice tight March window.
I
But
love it.
anyway, what do I know?
Engelbert, talk to us. How?
Yeah, Engelbert, all powerful Engelbert. Okay, so Final Four set. We've got UConn, we've got UCLA, we've got South Carolina, and we've got Texas. I
We
feel
sure
like
do.
Texas is the one team not everyone saw coming. But they have a lot of depth, and I felt like I saw a little bit of their game against TSU. They
Mm-hmm.
kicked butt, and it really felt like a collaborative effort on their part. It wasn't like one star dominating over everybody. I mean, Haley Van Lith was definitely the leader of her team, but I mean, I was really impressed, and I was a bit surprised by Texas. I don't know, Freddie, if there was any observations you have about Texas or anyone you wanted to shout out.
Yeah, they are a number one ranked team, right? So they are. We both like
Yeah, but
shouldn't.
in the NBA, it's like you're the Cleveland Cavaliers, you know what I mean? It's like, "Oh, cool, you're
Yeah,
here," but no one's, like, expecting you to, like, win it all, even though, like, you
yeah.
could. Anyway, go on. I
No, yeah,
digress.
you're not a name brand team in that sense. Just in regards to that TCU game, I thought that Texas their defense was insane, right? They held TCU to 47 points, 9 points in the first quarter.
Yeah, it's
Ouch.
crazy.
Pure clamps. And Haley Van Lith, she did hit like 10 free throws, so shout out. But that's 3 for 15. Like I was able to catch some of that game, and they just like had her completely locked up. So the TCU, by the way, Horned Frogs, that's a good name. 26
Are you
points of
serious?
No, I'm serious and not. I think it's
Okay.
I love insanely weird sports names and horned frogs. I like that. I'll take that over like whatever, like scary bears or whatever, like top animal like the sharks or like
The
scary.
tigers.
Yeah, like I will
There's
always take
always a tigers, yeah.
like the furry sloths. I'm like, you're wonderful. I love that you exist, you know?
As a team name, the furry sloths. You're
Yeah.
just the slowest team.
But you got
Who wants
reach
to this week, the furry sloths versus the turtles.
versus the horned frogs.
Oh my
Like the
god.
horned frogs, like, oh, I'm scared. I guess I'm gonna get salmonella. Um,
Or high, I don't know. I don't know anything
yeah.
about these frogs.
But anyway, so horned frogs, 26% from the field, 20% from three, and that's a recipe for a lost game. Haley Van Lith 3 for 15 from the field. Madison Connor 4 for 11 from the field. That's defense.
Yeah.
Madison Booker had a really big game, 18 points, 8 for 17 from the field. It's not as if Texas shot particularly well either, but
Yeah, they only had 59 or something at the end of this.
yeah, it was 58-47 final score.
58, yeah, thanks.
But Texas, South Carolina, going to be a really, really good game.
Whew.
I don't know if I've said this before on the podcast, and my wife called me out, and I was like, wait a second, yeah, wait, why am I like waffling here? Because we were watching a bunch of NCAA this weekend, and I was watching South Carolina, and I said, yeah, I guess I want South Carolina to win. And her and my father-in-law were like, you guess? And I was like, yeah, well, you know, you guys lived in
You
South Carolina.
forgot they're from South Carolina?
Yeah, well, I didn't forget that, but I was like, well, you guys are from there, so like I might as well root for them. And they're like, and Caitlin was like, who else would you root for? And I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm not like from a place, and they're like, but we're from South Carolina. Like South Carolina, the Gamecocks are like, they're like a thing. They're good. Like, why would you not? And I'm like, honestly, my bad. So South Carolina is officially my team.
That's
Sort of
great.
forever. My in-laws moved to Buffalo, and if there's like, I mean, University of Niagara, whatever. If there's ever like a good Buffalo team, I'll get behind them. But until then, I'm a South Carolina guy.
If there's a good Buffalo anything, I'd love to know.
The football team's good, but yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I do have a friend who's like a big Buffalo Bills fan,
Yeah, Bills are good.
and their wings are good.
Wings are good. Wings are good. Bills are good. Museums are good. Got to check them out.
Really?
Yeah, they got a good museum scene.
Okay.
It's
Noted.
legit. But should we move on to Duke, South Carolina?
Yeah.
Because that's a game I watched a bunch, and this is now 3 fairly tight wins in a row for South Carolina. And I have to say that like watching them like almost lose to Maryland, was that the Sweet 16?
Mhm.
Yeah, it was a Sweet 16. But they had a tight game before that too. And there's something about this South Carolina team that they just it's like they have that gear when it matters. And that was absolutely the case in this Duke game. Another really well balanced team like Texas. Like these are two
Yeah.
squads that are fully like team squads going up against each other. Like, and as far as like WNBA watch kind of thing, like Tahina Pau is kind of the main person who's going to be like a big name in the draft. I forget if Chloe Kitts is a senior or not, but anyways, yeah, they're like no one scored more than the high score of the game was Chloe Kitts, 14 points. And yeah,
Yeah.
nothing like
Definitely a team effort.
total team effort, shot well, good defense. A huge game from Duke's Toby Fournier, 18 points off the bench. That's big time.
Here's something to look out for. Is Don Staley the next Gino?
I think that's a good
Ooh.
question. Don Staley
Right?
is definitely already a legend. Please correct me if I'm wrong, listeners and Cathryn, but I think she is the highest paid female coach of all time. Like
I believe
her,
that's correct.
so she already has some like pretty legendary shit going on. Like one thing was I reading this?
Yeah,
I think
in the NCAA, just for clarity.
yes, sir. One thing I was reading, I was like, oh, that's really cool, and I like. It's one of my favorite parts about good coaching is they were saying like she knows how to be like tough on players, and then also like with this particular South Carolina team, like she can't really be too tough on them because they're not responding to that. I love coaches that have multiple gears, and I think the like the tough, like I'm a ruthless, like domineering type of coach always rubs me the wrong way. Like it's like you have one gear and
Yeah.
it's not as fun, you know?
Yeah, and I think a lot of that too comes from being a former player. Like, I think, not that every coach has to be a former player, but I mean, she's one of the greats as a player and
Hmm.
playing both in college, in the early years of the WNBA, in the Olympics. It's like she's been a part of different systems as a player, and I think that's like also really helpful, right? And yeah, I mean, I can't say enough about Dawn. I feel really good about South Carolina. Like in like these predictions in terms of like between them and Texas who might win. I do feel good about South Carolina beating
Yeah.
Texas. Not that it won't be close or anything like that, but I don't know. They just have like a bit of an it factor for me. And maybe I'm
Uh,
just shading on Texas too much. Like,
maybe
I'm all
we,
like, "Oh, they
yeah,
were ranked first. I didn't see them coming, whatever. They're the Cleveland Cavaliers, this, that, and the other." I could be so wrong about this team and just blindsided by everything this Texas team has to offer, but I right now, sitting here, I feel very strongly about South Carolina.
if you are, if you're a Texan, if you're a Texas fan, get up in Catherine's mentions.
Yeah,
Um,
get in my DMs.
absolutely
Set me
berate her.
straight.
Tell her about all the good things about Texas and that,
Yeah.
you know, just let her know because
Listen,
it's,
if you wanna ship me some biscuits, go I will eat them.
ship me some biscuits is good stuff. I really, really,
Maybe South Carolina's better biscuits, I've no idea.
I mean, as someone who's had a lot of South Carolina biscuits, they certainly have good biscuits.
Okay, okay. This
So
could be like a patriotic thing between the states,
it could.
but I digress. Freddie, who do you think is gonna win between South Carolina and Texas?
I'm going South Carolina.
As well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Gamecocks, let's go.
yeah. But that's because 'cause you're a homer now or because you actually think they're gonna win? Listen,
Honestly,
we'll tell your
both.
wife not to listen to this episode.
Honestly, both. I actually also feel like this game is going to be a grimy defensive game, and I
Yes,
think
I
it's going to
think that
be
too.
like I feel like it's going to be like a final of like 45-44.
Mm, mm. Yeah.
Maybe not that low. Actually, what am I saying? Looking at the South Carolina Duke game, like this was a defensive game already. The highest scoring quarter, Duke scored 20. They beat South Carolina in the third quarter 20-12, and that
Yeah.
was like the highest scoring quarter. And then South Carolina held Duke to 8 points in the fourth quarter. Holy shit!
Apologies everyone for my dog barking in the background.
Well, I got laundry popping off. It's all good, you know. We're out here living.
We're living life. Okay,
It's
let's
April 2nd. We just had an ice storm. Forget about it.
it's still pouring rain here in
We
Toronto.
don't
It
need
was
that.
freezing rain earlier. I haven't been able to like get her outside much today. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's messed up.
Uh, it is messed up. I agree. Let's move on and talk a bit about UConn here. So UConn in the Final Four. Some people were a little more hesitant than others if they would get to this point. There's a lot of pressure on Paige to see if they can get this championship. It would be their first championship since 2016 in a long storied franchise here. Um, Paige has declared for the WNBA draft, which is
Mm-hmm.
significant. There was a lot of speculation that maybe she wouldn't, and later in the episode we'll talk about some players who have opted out. Um, but anyway, UConn, tell me your thoughts, Freddie.
You want the stars to show up, and holy shit, did Paige show up?
Yep.
This was an incredible game. Azzi Fudd, who we'll get to, also decided to not declare, which is a big deal. But so check out this Paige Bueckers line: 31 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 4 steals, 2 blocks on 50% shooting from the field, 9 for 18, and 50% shooting from three, 4 for 8.
A
That
phenomenal stat
that
line.
is like a absolutely wild, 4 turnovers, but like wildly efficient game, like a wild. And when you're the star player, to have that level of efficiency when the whole defense is designed to stop you. And we've talked on the pod too about UConn having this like egalitarian offense. So I get it. It's hard to stop, but we also talked about how Paige, uh, you
Needed
know,
to be more selfish.
yeah, need to be more
Yeah.
selfish. And there's an incredible ringer article just talking about like, will Paige be that person who like
Yeah.
takes the most
Sirit
shots?
Selke's article. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
So
talked about this a few weeks ago, and it's nice to see that she has like learned that I don't want to call it a lesson, but for lack of a better term, I'll call it a lesson from last year, right? With her passing the ball to like Nika Mule,
mhm.
and then it was like a turnover or something in that last moments of the game where like it's one of those things, it's always in hindsight where it's like she could have taken that shot, and now she is taking that shot and she's proving she can make it, which is really exciting. I think like it's exciting for UConn, but it's exciting for her career in general, right? To get to that point, to know when to be selfless and when not, and when to take over, because that's something that so many superstars have, and we're seeing her find that balance, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, well said. And that kind of like let the game come to you, but also I will take the game when I need to.
Yes.
If you're We'll see what happens with all. There's just been this constant rumor that like Paige doesn't want to play for Dallas. It's I'm unfamiliar with this in men's sports. Frankly, I'm used to this idea of like certain places being like destinations that like guys don't want to go to. I'm not used to that in the WNBA. Like I haven't experienced that as a fan, so I'm curious. Like, if is it like where there's smoke, there's fire type shit? Because, anyways, yeah. If I'm
Well, I think it's also
a
that we
Wings
don't.
fan, I'm not enjoying this narrative.
That's a great point. I mean, I think like we don't know like how true that is or isn't. And it's all speculation, right? To some degree with Paige and not wanting to play with Dallas, because she has chosen to be a part of this draft, which means she has chosen to play with the Dallas Wings, right? Like she knows she's going first. It's a foregone conclusion. So like, she could have opted out, taken some time off, played in Unrivaled or played internationally somewhere, come back, been a part of
Mhm,
the league next year, but she's chosen to be part of it this year. So ultimately, she has chosen to be a part of Dallas. I
mhm.
feel like Dallas is one of those teams where there is disparity in terms of like the quality of their practice facilities and things like
Certainly.
that, right? So it is one of those
As their
franchises.
arena, it's one of the smallest, arenas.
Yeah, their arena. So it is one of those franchises that we want to see them step their game up. But, like Indiana last year, you land someone like Paige and suddenly that can happen for you. Now, it's crazy to say that because they already have a star in Enrique Gumbawale, but Paige is, I would say, is arguably a bigger name in women's basketball, and we can get into the reasons as to why that is. I think that could be a complex conversation maybe for a different episode.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, I mean, maybe they have talked is what I'm saying, for all we know. It's very possible they've talked. And I'm excited for her to be in the W. I mean, I'm
It's
sidetracking here a little bit, but I am really excited that she has chosen to be a part of this draft and be a part of the league.
I'm very, very excited, and I think obviously you can't talk about women's basketball for we're almost at 20 minutes. You can't talk about women's basketball for 20 minutes without mentioning the name Caitlin Clark. And that's fair,
We
but
might have. On
we
this
might have.
show, we might have.
We might. We
I'm
might.
just saying. I'm just saying.
We might. But I think like the average conversation, it's not happening. However, I think, when I have friends and people I know who are sports enthusiasts and they're kind of coming into the league now-ish, one thing I keep telling them is that like that and I really believe this that what we're seeing with Caitlin right now and the WNBA is honestly the tip of the iceberg, and I think Paige is evidence of that. Obviously, you got Flo J coming, you got Juju, you got all these major incredible players, but I think Paige is like next up as far as like she's a franchise player. She's
Yeah.
going to join the league and she's going to be incredible. And rookie of the year is hers to lose. She is absolutely going to be an elite player pretty quickly. And maybe this is a bit of a bold take, but I think some of the sort of early struggles that Caitlin had, even though Caitlin had this like just insane post Olympic part of the season. I don't think Paige is going to have early struggles because she lets the game come to her and she's a
Mm.
really really sort of complete player. I see Paige kind of just blending in at the worst case scenario. I think she's going to be like just like good to start.
Oh, yeah, I think
Like
that's
I
a
don't
great
think she'll
take.
have
I agree.
like I don't think it's gonna be a lot of like, oh, like is Paige like gonna be like okay? It's like no, I think she's gonna be great. Like
Well,
pretty
she's probably a little less ball dominant than Caitlyn, and also to having a offensive powerhouse like Arike next to you allows Paige to be even more of a passer. Like I'm not
Mhm.
like Caitlyn obviously is a passer, but like you know what I mean? Their offensive schemes I think are going to be really interesting. That's something I'm looking forward to seeing. But we should talk a little bit about UCLA here before we move on, Freddie. Uh
Yes. Can I just say that
please, yeah, yeah.
there's two stat lines I want to point out because they're just like we're like jumping off the page at me after I watched this game and then I just was like, oh, you know what, I enjoy stat watching and anyway, so Sarah Strong from UConn,
Oh gosh, yeah, sorry. I meant
22
to
and
talk
7.
about Sarah Strong.
Yeah, 22 and 17. She's a freshman. That's crazy.
It was like it was a star-making moment for Sarah Strong,
Yeah.
I would say, in that Elite 8 game. Like I feel like I really feel that way. Also too, I mean Ryan Rucco and Rebecca Lobo and Holly
Oh,
Rowe. You got the dream team
legends.
talk saying your name over and over again. That helps. Okay?
Is good.
You
Uh,
bet.
you bet.
But yeah, it was. I just wanted to. That's the only thing I really wanted to say is that I felt like it was a star-making moment for her.
And then, as we head into the draft, the other player is Rhea Marshall, for USC. And I don't know if it's because of injuries or like Juju was sort of them getting all the press and that sort of stuff. But Rhea's a senior, so it was a losing effort, right? But 23 points, 15 rebounds,
It
massive,
was a
massive game.
it was a valiant effort by USC. I will say. I
Yes,
loved the little Juju bobblehead thing or the little little
yeah,
doll. It wasn't quite a bobblehead, but like the little toy that they had that she was like on FaceTime with them and stuff. Like I thought. I mean, in the first half was close. Even
it
without
was.
Juju, like, they really ran away with it more in, like, the later part of the 3rd and the 4th, but, yeah, I mean, that's a really strong team to lose your star player and be able to put up that much of a fight. Yeah, Freddie, UCLA time?
UCLA time.
Okay, just for, the interest of timing on the podcast. UCLA, what are your thoughts? I mean, I feel like they are a bit of an underdog against, UConn here.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's all about Lauren Betts. Lauren Betts
Mhm.
really is like the kind of like standout player right now, who's killing it for the Bruins. Who's really exciting to me. Like,
6'7"? She's 6'7", do I have
s-
that right?
yeah, 6'7", 17 rebounds. Sorry, 17 points, 7 rebounds, 6 blocks. That's crazy.
Crazy.
6 blocks, period. And any, like, if you're playing rec league basketball and you get 6 blocks, it's like, holy shit.
Mhm.
So that's, and then I thought Flo J in a losing effort had a just
Isn't
like,
it Flage?
is it Flo J?
I think it's Flage.
Okay, here we go. We got a Freddie.
We got another pronunciation.
We got it. Anisha Morrow also.
Yeah.
Anissa Morrow.
Flage Johnson is like such a celebrity name to me. Like
Big time.
it's like your parents knew you were gonna be a star. Like it feels that way to me.
Mhm.
Um yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see both these teams match up. Did you have more UCLA thoughts, Freddie? Sorry. I didn't mean to I'm moving too fast now.
No, it's all good. I think they're the underdog, 100%. I don't see how they win. But yeah, Lauren Betts is the player that I watch where I'm kind of like, all right, you're
I
just
mean,
like,
there's a world where they're just like so dominant and like nobody on UConn can score. Like I mean there's a world where that happens, but I do think UConn will win. Our guy Michael Vopel, the ESPN writer
mhm,
that writes many great articles about women's basketball, is actually picking an upset here. I don't know if you saw that in the predictions.
I did
He's
not.
actually picking UCLA over UConn, but he's the only one out of 3 people who are making predictions for ESPN.
Okay.
And everyone picked South Carolina over Texas. But everyone's predicting this is going to be a
See.
close game. So, really interesting stuff there. I'm still going to lean towards UConn, but you know, I mean, it's called March Madness for a reason.
Yep.
Early April Madness. Um, Finals predictions. We both predicted South Carolina. I think we're
Yep.
both predicting UConn,
Correct.
which is kind of like, dare I say, the star matchup between
It
these
is.
4 teams.
It is.
I feel like so there's this part of me that like really wants it for UConn. Like I really want it for UConn. I really want it for Paige. But I have this feeling that South Carolina is out here doing big things
Gamecocks.
and they could get 2 in a row.
They're going to. It's not going to be close. 60-0 finals. That's what I'm calling.
Oh my god. You're really in the doghouse with your wife, eh?
We find out later.
Caitlin,
I'm
get him
getting
out of the
divorced.
dog.
But yeah, I mean, I think I'd be surprised if any one of these these 3 games that we have left aren't tight games. But
Yeah.
I like South Carolina. I like the depth, and I think that I don't see them shutting down UConn necessarily, but I feel like I see them keeping up and
Mm.
and and making plays. When you have full Wiley and that's that sort of caliber player coming off the bench, it's your team's it's just really sort of composed and stacked. So is UConn. So, if UConn
Yeah.
does win, like honestly, none of these teams other than kind of UCLA would surprise me if they won it all. Uh Even if Texas won it all, I wouldn't be very surprised either. Just because I think when you have a ton of depth, it allows for someone to have a cold game and then someone else to step in and kill it. Especially in like these college kind of like make or break, win or go home style games.
Yeah, I mean, I feel really good about South Carolina. And also too like a narrative to look out for, kind of like what I was alluding to earlier. If Gino loses, right? Like the championship, not that that's like a quote unquote loss, it's still impressive to get this far. But I feel like people are going to be looking like, "Oh, like when is Gino going to retire?"
Hmm.
Like I think that's going to become a conversation. He's been at this since you sent me this article since 95.
Yes.
Time has
Well,
not been
yeah.
kind to the face, but
Ouch.
that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
You're getting absolutely shredded by Cathryn, Gino. Gino, if you're listening,
I'm
yikes.
never invited to Connecticut. Um or Texas apparently. But yeah,
Or
I just feel
Nashville.
or come on, I liked the Summits as a name. The Pat
Yeah.
Summits.
Okay.
I feel like that's my redeeming quality here. But
Yeah,
I'm just saying
I'll give it to you.
that's gonna I feel like that's a narrative that's coming is all I'm saying, which could be interesting.
Mhm. Yeah.
Um, Freddie, for the interest of time, do we wanna talk about these players, opting out of the draft? Because we could do it next
Yeah,
week.
well, I think we can just mention that, which will lead into our Freddy's fun question.
Perfect.
Uh,
Okay, great.
yeah, so Olivia Miles and as previously mentioned, Azzi Fudd, uh, have decided to play another year in college and go into the transfer portal. So I think they're
Wait, they're
clearly that's
both going in the transfer portal? Or is it just
um
Olivia?
it's Olivia for sure. Sorry, Fudd maybe not. I just sort of assumed. And actually, yeah, maybe Fudd's not because UConn is
Yeah, because I thought, like,
it's a lot of money there.
it was interesting for Olivia to decide to go into the transfer portal. Um, but anyways, I digress.
Yeah, I think to me that shows that it's like you have some NIL money coming your way. Somewhere someone has told you, "Hey, if you come play with us next year instead of joining the W, we got some money coming your way for sure." But yeah, I think it's a pretty big shock because at one point 2 and 3 was Citron. It was Sonia Citron and Olivia Miles, 2
Yeah,
and
she
3.
was projected to be, like, the 2nd pick or 3rd pick in the
Yeah.
draft, yeah.
So this is a big person not, joining the draft, right? So, pretty huge.
Um, I guess I'll say this for right now. With Olivia, I don't think it's actually about the NIL, because the
Mm.
NIL, obviously, it's a factor, but I think because she's entered the transfer portal, that to me is like, there's more going on here, right? Because it's like you could get NIL and stay with Notre Dame,
Yeah, it is
right?
a high profile place, that's true.
So it's like it's not just that she wants to stay, not that just that she wants to collect NIL, but also like she wants to be somewhere else. And she did have an injury in her career, which does allow her to opt into this other year.
Mhm.
So I think there could be reasons beyond just the financial with the W versus this. Also, because I mean, if it was like, oh, you're gonna make so much more money if you stay, I mean, I don't know. Then I think we would see other players doing the same thing, like between COVID and injuries, etc. I do think there's more going on. Freddie, I don't want to step into your Freddie's fun question, but the point I'm making is going to kind of overlap here a little bit. And that's Dejanay Carrington kind of talked about this, and she's like, we have NIL in the WNBA, and it's called endorsements. So it's not like you can't make money beyond just what the W salary is. And if you're good, like you're popular or whatever, you're going to make that money anyway, which I think
Mhm.
is very true. Um, which is all to say, I think all of this is about more than the money, but it's a narrative that people like to push that like no one makes money in the WNBA.
It is, and point in case, like people got super quiet when Caitlin Clark came into the league. Like there was like she's only making $74,000 a year, which we can acknowledge is bad. But then none of her NIL money went away, and she actually got more endorsement money and her own shoe.
Becoming a professional, yeah.
Yeah, with Nike, and then everyone's sort of like, oh, let's just go ahead and not talk about that anymore because she became more famous and a bigger celebrity and made more money as a professional. So, but yeah, it's a very like sort of
Like
like
that guy I yelled at on the subway last year.
yeah, it's a narrative that needs to go away, which I think leads into our my FFQ, which is Catherine. Given this with Carrington and NIL narrative, what's something that's sort of like a public narrative that you would like to see go away,
Mm.
or be reframed, if not go away entirely.
I would like you to go first on this one. I want to know what you have in mind.
Okay, mine. There's silly ones. There's serious ones. Uh, which would you like?
Yes, you could go. We could go in either direction. Let's do serious first and then funny, because then maybe it'll inspire something from me as well.
Okay, this is a big
Mine
one.
is like mine is like not necessarily silly, but it's not very serious, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Mine's a reframe. Okay, so the word taxes. It's always
Oh my
used as like this.
god.
Yeah, it's always used as like a dirty word, like taxes, taxes, taxes. What are taxes? They are services for things you pay for things that collectively you pay for things that do things. They
Well, this
taxes.
will go over with our American audience well.
I mean, hey, if you're in a state that has high taxes, bet you have nice roads and good schools. Uh,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
but like, yeah, I always quote my father-in-law, and I'm gonna do my Brian accent, my South Carolina accent. Forgive me if it's not great, but he would always go, low taxes means bad roads, and he'd be like, don't believe in climate change, move to the coast. And I always told him, I was like, I want you to be do ads as like the sensible Southern man.
Listen, the Southern Democrat is like a really funny character for you.
And they're less of a rare breed than people realize.
Yeah, yeah. Like I feel like that's something fun for you to explore on stage.
Okay. Well, you know,
I
it
like
all
it.
started here. But really though,
But
it's like
really inspired by like your father-in-law. So I don't mean it as a stereotype. I mean it like as like a rich character.
he's a stereotype and I love him, you know? But really I do think that all over the world you have it. It's like it becomes this like dirty word, taxes, and when you break it down, it's kind of like it's services, like you're paying for stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
So
as
reframe.
Canadians, we do experience like pretty good quality of life even though we have higher taxes, but like free healthcare, good roads, good infrastructure, um, lots of stuff really. Schools, like
Hmm.
all of it. That's a good one. It shouldn't be as bad of a word as it is. I think like if it became less of a bad word, then we could talk more about the efficiency of spending,
For sure, exactly. You can actually
right? Which
break it
would be
down, and you can be like,
yeah,
okay, more transparency. That's different, but just
which would
sort of
be a really good conversation to have, but because it's like the noise of just like taxes, boo, you don't
exactly.
get to that
You don't get
part.
to talk about them. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good one. Okay, what's your silly one?
Okay, I have like a decent amount of silly ones 'cause that I feel like that these are things that I just want to stop, and I need them to go away. So first of all, I'm anti-vest. I've realized this. I think I'm pro.
See my vest made
You know what
from
I mean?
real gorilla chest.
Shout out if you're our age and you know The Simpsons, that's a bop.
Yeah.
But Simpsons, that's good shit. That's also a weird Cruella Deville thing going on there.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
You don't like
listen,
people wearing vests. Now, are you talking about like a vest under like a blazer, like a suit? Or are you talking like a puffer vest outside?
I'm talking about puffer vest outside. Any vest that's affiliated with work, aye, keep doing your thing. But if it's sorry, that's just I made myself laugh because that's
Because they're only wearing those vests on the sea.
it's a work vest. You know what I
Aye,
mean?
aye.
Bulletproof vest saved your life. You know what I mean? But crossing guard, now I can see you. Thank you very much. But if it's a puffer vest and you're staying warm, out. Uh, and I'm also yeah. So I think I'm pro sleeves.
Why does it bother you?
I can't quite explain it, but it's like
No, I want you to try.
it's like it's like breaks my brain. It's like something's missing. The sleeves. That's what's missing.
It breaks your brain.
And
Is
watching it,
it
I'm
is
like,
it like the hot but cold thing, or is it just the physical aesthetic of not having the sleeves?
it's the physical aesthetic.
Mhm.
Odd to me.
Okay. I'm with you.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, okay, so mine is like a stupid basketball related thing. It's a homer take here, but it has to do more with the NBA, so I'm sorry. But everybody, like, you know, actually earlier you mentioned it when we were talking about like destination cities and like, oh, like cities that are like good to play in and not good to play in. So lately there's been a lot, or not lately. It's resurfaced recently, but this is like a thing in Toronto by being the only Canadian team in the NBA. No one wants to play here. Oh, we got to go through customs. It's so terrible, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, this is a good city to live in. Everyone's like, oh, yeah, it's great to visit for a couple days. You don't want to live there. I hate this. This is a narrative we got to reverse around. Because it's like, I'm not saying it's Miami, but it's not bad. Like, I just feel like I get irked with this negative talk about basketball players playing in Toronto, and maybe this will come up with the WNBA as well once the tempo starts, but here's the thing. These players get paid in American dollars. So when you live in Canada, that means your dollar goes further. It's like 30 to 40%. So it's like you live in a land where everything is 30 to 40% off. Your house, your car. I mean, think about how great that would be. And you're acting like, "Oh, these customs blah blah blah." You go through it like privately. You're not standing in line with the rest of us. So even that is like not a big deal. I just feel like when they try to say negative things about being here, they just sound like spoiled brats and they're not seeing the bigger picture. And it's not, and it has nothing to do with like the quality of living here. So I don't like it. And I would like that narrative to be reversed. This is my not funny, not too serious of a problem one, but
Uh,
basketball related.
I am in full agreement, and I don't know if this is too bold. I've heard people say this, and I fully agree with it. I think that that's not going to be an issue for the tempo, and I think that the men are spoiled, and I think that Toronto is going to be it's going to be a wonderful destination for um for the WNBA. I think
Yeah, like I'm not saying like
players are going to
it.
want to play here. They're going to love it. They're not going to be like the men. I just don't. I don't expect it. I'd be kind of surprised if it does happen. And that's
Yeah,
provided we have our shit in order. Because
true.
just so if you're
Absolutely.
listening to this and you're like, these people are from Toronto, they're too high on it. I'll offer a criticism. We have an arena right now that's less than 10,000. That has to change. Like
Yep.
that can't be what we're doing permanently. There's a long story to it why we're not in the same arena as the Raptors. That doesn't really
Yeah.
matter. The main point is we were going to get a WNBA team, and we do a lot of complaining about owners and stuff on this podcast, and like our ownership is this ownership that we have is good. They have a very good reputation. So I trust that they're gonna like it's not like, oh yeah, okay, great, 10,000 person arena, the end. It's like, no.
Yeah, I agree.
These
I
games are gonna
agree.
sell out and then they're gonna be like, what do we do?
Yep. Yep. I agree. So that's my dumb one. I have a silly one that I've just thought of
Hit me.
because you don't like these vests, right? And you want them to go away. Well,
Yes.
there's something I want to go away in
What?
society that I feel like it would not, I don't want to shame people per se, but I would just like this to go away. And this is more of a pet peeve, but we can change this to, changing a narrative is spitting in public.
You love it.
No, I hate it.
Oh,
What?
I'm just kidding.
I don't know why we socially accept spitting in public. I think it's really gross.
Yeah. I fully agree. Same with whispering in public. Get out of here. We're out for dinner. Okay.
Being in public, go
No,
home.
you're out for dinner. There's 10 people. 2 people are whispering. Pardon me? You have cell phones. Text each other. Take a walk. Don't be weird. Don't
When has
whisper.
this happened to you?
People,
Did you
no one,
think they were whispering about you? Is that the issue?
no, I don't even care. No one in my circle is a whisperer, but I see it. You know what I mean? It's like, what's going on here? Don't
Yeah.
spit, don't whisper, no vest.
We're not really whispering kinds. Tipping of the cap. Yeah, so that's my silly one. Let's get rid of that. That's a narrative. I would like that to be more
I love
shamed in public. Okay, let's wrap it up there. Thank you everyone so much for listening and tuning in. Appreciate you so much. Happy Final Four, everyone. I hope you enjoy it. It's gonna be a really fun weekend of basketball. We'll recap it next week. Freddie's going to Nashville.
Music City.
Have fun. Tell us all about it next week. Oh my god, I don't know what's happening. Thank you everyone, and we'll catch you next time. Bye.
Thanks everybody. Peace.
This podcast has been brought to you by the Sonar Network.